Everybody trying to come up with nicknames for this defense, but I feel like, it's locked down, it's locked in. It's Lock City in this boy. You know what I mean? It's Lock City. Lock City, boy. Yeah. Every time somebody walks in and plays the Cleveland Browns defense, they walking into Lock City. You know what I mean? Bring a key.
Who came up with that? Who came? I like, because it reminds me of Rack City. I like that. Lock
you know what
City,
I mean?
Lock City is all right, man. Like,
you know what I mean?
Got like you got some rendering drawings.
Keep your lock your car. Keep your valuables outside of the windows because you just walked in to Lock City, and if you don't lock it down, we taking your stuff. It's Lock City, okay?
I like.
We got them bandits. You know what I mean? We got them bandits on that side. You know.
I like it.
Watch out. Watch out.
You got to get you some drawings, man. I see a bright future for you.
Yep. Flavor Aid Mafia. We doing it, baby. Let's go. Flavor Aid family. This video is brought to you by patreon.com/worsttake. Get access to exclusive live streams and Discord servers, on-screen shoutouts, and early access to some videos when you join now. Help make sure that we can continue to make content like this by supporting the Patreon. Links are in the description down below. Y'all know what time it is. It's time that I have my guy GBUSH. Man, last time we did it, we had such a great show. I couldn't upload it. You know why?
Why is that?
Your audio didn't record.
Don't you hate when that be happening? You be like, I got this work. It's about to be crazy. And then you go to download
call you back to fix it because I'm about to go out of town. So it's like, I guess it was a gem. It was a gem. Man. It was us hitting on the whole how people missed the point with the whole Deshaun Watson thing a week early. We were like, hey man, this might be a more serious problem than y'all thinking he just decided not to play. But now that we finally got word out of this whole thing, it was what we kind of thought it was, where it was like, okay, they thought it was one thing Monday through Friday. They take the x-ray. They take another MRI once the swelling goes down Saturday. They realize it was another thing Saturday night. Now what happened Sunday makes sense, right? Why wasn't DTR prepared? They literally only thought it was swelling, right? And they thought he was going to play because it was only swelling. The swelling's going down, And then they did that scan, and then they realized it was something else, and that if he goes out there and plays, not only is he going to be suboptimal, but it's going to be larger injury, surgery territory, right?
I want to talk about that.
But now that we know what this whole situation is, do you think people are going to start acting less crazy about this whole shoulder thing?
Well, I'll give Deshaun credit. He came out and ended all the speculation. I thought he did a good job of answering them questions. You know how it was, like when your general manager say something and then your coach say something, everybody is clamoring for it. And I hate when people do this. Well, if he doesn't say anything, they're going to ask his teammates the questions, and his teammates are going to have to answer the questions. Listen, if that's the worst thing that happened
when people in the media they admit that what they're doing is not productive behavior.
Right.
But they only give you the excuse for giving the bad behavior, as if bad behavior, and I say this all the time when people are like, give excuses for bad behavior. It's like, hey man, bad habits and bad behaviors have the best excuses. That's why they exist. If I'm overeating, which I've had this problem before where I overeat,
I still got that problem.
Incredible excuses to overeat, dog. It's so easy to make an excuse. Just because there's a good excuse out there don't mean you got to do it, right? And I'll hear these media guys go oh, well, we have to ask the other guys on the team about it because Deshaun didn't answer. I'm like, what you think Amari Cooper know about this situation that you don't? What you think he know? What you think he know? No, you don't have to do it. You choose to do it. Again, bad behavior and bad habits have the best excuses. And that don't mean you should keep doing them.
And they do it. Some of my colleagues, some of them is better at it than others. Some of them have a worse habit than others. But my thing is, and even if they was asking linemen about Deshaun Watson, at the end of the day, if you You're getting paid. It's a question. If somebody asked me about Quincy every single day, like I would be like, well, and people do. They'd be like, yo, GBUSH, what's up with Quincy? Y'all gonna do another show? What's up with Quincy when he coming back on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show? Is Quincy tall? Is he short? Is he like, how is Quincy? Where does Quincy live? I'm like, look, bro, I answer those questions with grace and dignity. I'm like, listen, I talked to Quincy last week. He didn't say how tall he was. I talked to Quincy the other day. I told him I was going to talk to him.
Why they try to expose me on here? Like, I don't.
Where does he live at? Is he in the state? Like, what does he do? Like, is he like, who is he in a relationship? Have you seen Quincy talking to 35 women or no? I'm like, bro, look. I don't know, man. I listen. I just do blogs with him. Sometimes we have a good time, but as you can see, Deshaun kind of put a little kibosh on that. He was just like, listen, hey, I'm day to day. I got a little tear in here. I don't know when I'm going to be back 100%. I don't even know I'm going to be 100%, period. But I'm going to try to get back as quickly as I can. And I thought he came out and just did a good job. And now I could forever, when somebody says that, we've gotten rid of the injury thing. Now, hopefully, we could get rid of the $230 million talking point that comes before anything that happens with Deshaun Watson. It says 230 and then blah 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 blah. Maybe we can work on that.
No, I was bringing this point up. People got mad at me on it on Twitter, where I was like, Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts have been infinitely more disappointing than Deshaun Watson this year. Like way more disappointing. Like you can say that you can want more out of Deshaun, and I've even said that. Like people think that when you say something that's not ridiculous about this man, that you're like straight up defending him. It's like, nah, I've been critical about things that I feel like he should be critical on. I was very critical after that first game. I did an hour and 10 minutes on a film breakdown talk about stuff he ain't do. Okay, like trust me, I'm not missing the bad stuff. But at the end of the day, he's played 3 games. One was in a monsoon, one was good, and one was bad. We have not nearly enough evidence to know where we are in this direction, and especially calling the most disappointing QB in all football when Joe Burrow has been an outright disappointment. And Jalen Hurts has thrown more interceptions this year than he has all of last year. And oh, by the way, if you want to throw in money, because quarterbacks don't get cut. So the money is what matters. The guarantee money, very minimal. You could talk about Joe Burrow at 270. We don't ever bring up that 270 when we're talking about his disappointment. You know, we don't talk about Jalen. I had to Google it because nobody talk about Jalen Hurts 255. We don't talk about we do talk about the $40 million that Daniel Jones got because that's his highway robbery. But the fact that Daniel Jones out there and you want to talk about Deshaun Watson's contract, Deshaun is like the 8th or 7th or he's like the 9th or 10th most highest paid quarterback per year. The contract is not that big of a deal anymore. No. It's only if you want to ignore stuff. And when people hit me with the whole, oh, well, it's guaranteed, Quincy, it's just different. They're not cutting Joe Burrow. That 270 is effectively guaranteed.
Name a top 10 quarterback that's got cut with that big of a cap hit on it, ever.
Name one quarterback that got the extension that got cut. They're not even cutting Russ.
They're going to have to eat that.
And I don't even hear them bring up Russ's money.
They don't bring Russ's money up at all.
Legitimately sucks, and he's old. What about if we want to talk about he's missed games, Quincy? That's why he's disappointing. All right, bring up Aaron Rodgers' money. We don't do that. Aaron Rodgers' Achilles should have get torn because he makes X amount of money.
First game, week 1.
2 snaps.
I would respect people. Quincy, I would respect people if they just came out and said, listen, I don't like I don't like the allegations for Deshaun Watson. I don't like the fact that, you know what I'm saying, like he didn't give me immediate dividends and returns. And I believe that either Baker Mayfield was a better choice, I wanted to stay with him, or I don't like how much they gave up for him. If you would just come out and say that to me before you start prefacing the money, like I would look at you and I would salute you as a human being because you're being honest. But it's disingenuous to say that 230 is the thing that's moving you when we know it's not.
Yeah, it's not. Y'all, you don't even care about the money that anybody else is making. Like it's just so disingenuous. A lot of talking points. I wish people would just be honest about it because there's no fault in being honest about it. I'm not about to sit here and not understand why people feel the way that they feel about him. Like I understand that totally, but you know. That don't mean that you can sit here and lie to my face about what's actually happened. And then if I don't go with it, you can act like I'm crazy for saying something. It's just nuts, man. It's nuts out here. And that's all that I was saying about that whole situation. It's like, yeah, man, like you can ask me, would I rather have Joe Burrow in the long run than Deshaun? Sure, but right now, Joe Burrow's been disappointing. Jalen Hurts, I think that's a different conversation. I would legitimately rather have Deshaun. I think Deshaun's been good in the NFL, played at a higher level than Jalen Hurts has ever had. And, you know, his success seems more.
He had that 1 year, man. Yeah. He looked good in Alabama, too, 1 year.
Yeah. But, you know, I've seen Deshaun have more replicatable success in 2019 and 2020 than Jalen Hurts has. And I'm not really questioning any of the other elements of it. It's just about if he gets comfortable. So, yeah, I just think that we got carried away. A little bit. As a fan base, I think sometimes the negative emotions got people carried away, and I was one of the few. You were one of the few out here saying, "Why are we acting like this team can't win on Sunday?" But now we're moving on to the Colts game. Let's talk. We've talked about this defense a ton. We talked about this offensive line a ton. And we talked about these corners a ton. But what we have not talked about is these linebackers, and include Grant Delpit in that group of linebackers because he's basically a linebacker.
He'll be back.
They have what I like to call the triangle of death, which is Myles Garrett, stand-up linebacker Mike, JOK, will linebacker Grant Delpit on the other side. You are not running the ball to that side. So like, you aren't running the ball to that side, and you aren't throwing a screen to that side. And I don't know if teams have caught up to, because I think everybody here is aggressive and they're like, oh, we're going to screen them. Don't screen the Browns. They are the best team against the screen. They are a nightmare to screen against. They are so fast. You could fool them and they can catch you. It's unreal what you're seeing at the NFL level with them. And I think these linebackers have been special. And I think more so than the help on the defensive line, while that's helped, the pressure that these offensive linemen have now, not only accounting for Myles and the guy next to him, but also accounting for, like, if one of these heat-seeking missiles gets shot at them while they're worried about that, that's breaking these offensive lines. And you saw, man, Myles Garrett was able to throw Trent Williams around like a rag doll, and I ain't never seen that happen in my life. And that just tells you Myles Garrett, he's at the peak of his powers, man. Like this is one of the greats of all time at the peak of his powers, and he is doing stuff to one of the greats of all time.
He's proven it. He's proven it in real time. And I was getting a little upset because, you know, we have a tendency in this city to kind of slowly but surely turn on people, and I felt like the Myles Garrett slander had begun to get too much legs. You know what I'm saying? To a point where we talk about, you know, people literally talk about him flipping his car and whether or not, well, you know,
there's a hive of TJ Watt fans in this fan base. You know what I mean?
They've infiltrated behind enemy lines, and they like are wearing Browns uniforms and Browns hats, but they swear up and down that TJ Watt is that deal. Like, they just like, hey,
I'm just saying, like, I think they just don't think he hustles enough, right? I think that's what that's about. Is the effort? Is they don't think the effort's great for Myles? The effort's been great. He hasn't. Remember when that was John Gruden? Which LOL, John Gruden had this take. He wanted Jamal Adams over Myles Garrett because he felt like Myles Garrett doesn't hustle enough.
Listen, that hustle. Listen. Hey, man, look,
I don't feel like he wasn't hustling enough at Texas A&M.
I mean, listen, Rick Ross is hustling every day. Give me.
Hey, look, man.
Hey, but I'll say this one thing: you hit the nail on the head when you said this. Good luck trying to throw these screen passes against the Browns, because they didn't got this thing timed all the way up. It's getting to a point where this is Tecmo Bowl. It's like, did I pick the same play as you? Remember Tecmo? You picked the same play direction as a man's play. All of a sudden, it's a jailbreak screen. You're like, oh my gosh, what? Only person that was able to break that was Bo Jackson, by the way. You could pick Bo Jackson's play and tap A mad fast, and he would just knock people off. But JOK has been playing lights out. He's been playing fast. He looks faster than he was last year, and he was already fast.
He's
I
bigger.
think one of the things that you're seeing is the offensive linemen, first and foremost, have their hands full with the defensive linemen changing the line of scrimmage. I mean, they're 3-4 yards in the backfield, and good luck climbing to the next level when you got guys like that in your backfield. Now you got those guys coming downhill with their ears planted, and they've been reading their keys great. Like the play where Anthony Walker and JOK they swarmed Christian McCaffrey in that little screenplay. It was
Did you see what Miles did on that play? If you go back and look at the end zone angle on that play, Myles Garrett starts the play inside. He completely that's the play where he throws Trent Williams on the ground, right? Yeah. So he throws Trent Williams on the ground. And then with his off arm, while he's getting rid of Trent Williams, chest gets right into the chest of the guard trying to pull around for that screen, and then also gets into the chest of McCaffrey. So by doing that, he eliminated 2 blockers on that screen, and that just allowed JOK and Anthony Walker to absolutely murder Christian McCaffrey. Now, it's a big play because it took him out of field goal range. That don't show up in the stat sheet. We ain't got a cute little name for that. But that's what Miles does that nobody else can do. And if you ever want proof that Miles is the best defensive player in all of football, look how teams defend him, and then look how teams defend Micah Parsons, and look how teams defend TJ Watt. Hey, teams will let TJ Watt be one-on-one. Teams will let Micah Parsons be one-on-one. You know what teams ain't doing? They ain't doing that with Miles. The Baltimore Ravens played the Browns and the Steelers back-to-back. They had all the triple teams for Myles Garrett in that week. They were playing the Pittsburgh Steelers the very next week, and they said, let's get rid of them double team plays. Let's get rid of them protections. We don't need those in for TJ. It would have been easier to keep them in. But they were like, TJ ain't Miles.
Did you see what Myles Garrett did to George Kittle? He just, he just turns and just says, I'm going to decide to just take your face off. Let me put my helmet in your mouth really quickly, and let you know that I'm over here looking. And I'm like, why did he do that to him like that?
Here's the beauty of Myles Garrett this year. He used to get caught up and to try to be your favorite pass rusher. And what I mean by that is he trying to set him up and do these end arounds and all of this and do these dribble drives and all this stuff and try to get the fancy move off. But you know what he realized this year? I ain't got to do none of that shit. It is so much. I could just run past them, right? Yeah, I don't have the other guys have to do all of that because they can't run past, right? It's like comparing Akeem Olajuwon to Giannis. Okay, Akeem got to do the dream shake and got to go up, back around, throw around with the other hand because here's what he got to do to get the ball in the net. Giannis goes downhill dunks, okay? And Miles used to try to set him up and try to be your favorite edge rusher and try to show y'all he got the moves. But you know what he's doing this year? I'm fast, you can't stop me. I'm strong, you can't block me. He has learned, and this takes a lot of self-confidence, I think. A lot of self-confidence and a lot of maturation. Because when you're young, you try to do the most, right? You try to let people know how good you are. You trying to, you ever see young wide receivers run the ball, they do all this stuff with their arms. They try to do 12 stabs. They try to show you this footwork that they done learned off of Instagram, right?
Shout out to Route Guy, by the way.
But they be doing all that stuff. But then you see Jerry Rice run that route. It is 1-2 step chop. It's just a trust in you can't stop me if I do this. And that's what Miles is doing. He's like, if I get on this angle, you're not strong enough to push me out of it.
Think about this correlation, though. Not only is he doing it, but the whole defense is predicated that way. How often did you see before where they was Joe Woods is trying to, if it's 2x2 to the field side, we gonna run cover 6 this way, but we gonna run cover 3 over there. And then if no, listen. That's what Schwartz is doing. He listen, I think we play better man than the corners in the league. And you're going to get a heavy dose of that. I don't care if it's Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, whoever this case may be. Get some of that. Get locked up. Just go real quick. And when you couple the fact that Myles Garrett is like, well, let me go ahead and do what's best for me because I could just get back there. And then you got Denzel Ward being like, well, let me just line up and play bump and run with you all day. Now you got a defense that's playing to their strengths, and that's scary.
And it goes back to this, and it's gonna be my quote of the day.
Quote of the day. It's like
when you're young, you confuse complexity with brilliance. Right? Yep. How many rappers back in the day you used to listen to that you were like, oh, these dudes are just smarter than everybody else because they rap real fast and they super complex and you feel like through that complexity that they're saying something important.
Yeah.
But they probably not. But brilliance is the ability to cut through all of that and be like, I'll say what he just took 2 verses to say in 2 lines. That's brilliance, right? That's what separates, the internet's favorite lyricist from the true greatest lyricist, because some of the greatest lyricists of all time, it ain't got to be complicated to get to that. Sometimes Kendrick does too much, but when Kendrick's on point, he hits you with 2 lines. And it's like, damn, right? How many rappers rap fast and then you listen to one J. Cole verse, you're like, damn, he said everything that you wanted to say in 2 bars. 2 bars. And that's the thing, right? When you're young, you want to show everybody how brilliant you are. You think showing somebody how brilliant you are is showing how complex you are.
And when you get older, I'll tell you this on top of that, Q. When you get older, it's easier to date when you're older, right? Because you say less and you straight to the point. Like you don't, when you're young, you'll talk yourself out of somebody liking you. They're like, I was going to go on a date with you, but you done talked yourself all the way out of a
for the young fellas, young fellas, even young ladies in the audience.
Yes.
Look, people will lie to you about what it takes. All these like gurus, all these guys out here trying to tell you how to get women, they are lying to you because they tell you, oh, it's about what you say, all this other stuff. They try to make the play all complicated. The best pickup line is, what's up? My name is what? A confident, what's up? Yeah. My name is this. What's your name? If you got the smile, flash it. Eye contact really do work. And then just start a conversation. You ain't got to do nothing crazy. Start a conversation, get it going. And once she's comfortable, let her talk. You know what I mean? Let her tell you about you. Let her tell you about her. And then play from that. Sit back, relax. But what most young guys do, they got to be like, I got to show her why she should like me. I'm going to show her my cars. I'm going to show her how much money I got. And it's like, you ain't got to do none of that because what's real ain't got to be said. You know what I mean?
Already.
Already. And that's just the key to growing up, is having the inner confidence to know I ain't got to be on every play. I ain't got to do these things to show everybody how great I am. You know what? I'm going to just cross you over. LeBron used to try to get real flashy back in the day, but when LeBron was LeBron, when he was like, I can just shoot it.
Just
fade away, jump up, pop.
Iverson used to cross people up, 7, 8 crossover. Then he realized, I'm AI. I'm going to just hit you with
Steph
the head.
Curry a couple years ago, right? When Steph was like going against the Cavs, he was never good in the clutch. He was doing all this other shit, right? Trying to throw behind the back, all this stuff, trying to let y'all know how good he is. But
first time, come on.
But when he won that championship by himself in 2021?
Yeah,
he wasn't doing none of that.
He
was like, I'm gonna get to my spot. You can't stop me. That is when you know an athlete is at the peak of their powers. When they're just like, I'm getting to my spot. I ain't even going to do that much because I know you can't do nothing about it. What did Jordan used to do? Jordan's portfolio is not that crazy when it comes to his shots. He gets to the wing. He gets to the baseline. He gets to his spot and he takes the shot. He ain't trying to do too much. He's not trying to size you up 3 different times and bring you back around so he can get a step back hezzy floater. No, he's just going to get you to he's going to be like, hey, I'm going to get you to here. And I'm going to give you this elbow, and I'm going to come around you. And I can tell you that. Larry Bird used to tell dudes how he was going to beat them. Why? Because when you're dominant, and you know you're dominant, it ain't got to be that much. I'm going to get to my spot. I'm going to make this shot, and you're going to have to deal with it. And that's where Myles Garrett is.
When it comes to the Colts, so you telling me that the Browns defense will get to their spot. They will stop Zach Moss. They will. Taylor might run the rock a little bit, but they pretty much gonna.
That's what we're gonna find out. If they really living up to this best in the world thing, they're not gonna get all caught up in trying to prove it to everybody. They're not gonna try to make all these. They're gonna be like, "Hey man, I'm gonna be right here. You gonna make a mistake, and I'll get this interception sooner than later. I'll wait. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's where teams can get in trouble, right? Especially I worry about this with the young corners because they're still trying to prove themselves. But hey, man, that's why getting that first one, Martin Emerson talked about it. That's why getting that first one does matter because it's like, okay, when you don't get that first one, you're trying to prove that you can get it.
Right.
But after you get that first one, you like, man, they're going to throw this to me. All I got to do is catch it, right? That's what it is, right? That's what takes this defense from good to great. And I think you're seeing guys at that level right now. Denzel Ward used to drive me crazy, but you know what he's doing now? You can't beat me. And even if you do, I'm going to catch that. You got to be absolutely perfect to beat me. I got nothing to prove.
Yeah, he's playing with a lot of, because he's in people's back pockets a little bit, low key.
Yeah.
And for once, Denzel Ward is fast, bro. For once, he's really playing like he knows he's faster than you. So that confidence to drive on that little underneath stuff, you see what is causing headaches for these receivers.
Confidence is key. If you take away anything from this video, confidence is key. And look, the difficult thing about confidence, you can't just manifest it, right? You can't just wish yourself to be confident. Confidence comes from execution. Like a lot of people are like, oh, the team doesn't play with energy. But you know from playing ball at a high level, G, energy comes from execution. You execute well, you got energy. You getting ran on, you ain't got no energy. You getting reached, you ain't got no energy, right? You know, and it feeds in. It's a feedback loop. And the fact that this team has been able to put together 5 good games tells me that they're going to be confident, that they're going to have this good energy, and they're going to have this natural confidence in them. And I think it's rubbing off. Seeing Miles decide, I ain't going to set up somebody for 3 quarters no more. I'll just run through his chest when I need to. Like, I don't think people saw this, but you go back, watch that last drive that Miles had against Trent Williams, whipped his ass, doing nothing but normal stuff. Trent Williams had to call him a Hall of Famer after the game. Like, just whipped him the whole drive.
If you've been playing fighting games, you play against somebody that's really good, like a professional, they ain't doing fireballs. They not doing special moves. They just doing long normals, punching you in the face with good spacing. And you like, dang.
You know what it is? It's like if you're like, oh, remember we had this talk about, oh, do the Browns have to change up their style because of who they're playing? Like, if you Mike Tyson and you knocking people out, why change? Right? Like, that's what this defense is that they're deciding. Miles is finally deciding, oh, I'm Myles Garrett. I'm going to get to this spot. This is how I'm going to do it. Good luck stopping it. You know, nobody's faster than me. Nobody can push me when I'm bending. Like, Trent Williams couldn't push Myles Garrett when he was bending. Nobody doing it, dog. I'm going to bend around this corner. I'm going to still get my angles. Even if you make me run the arc, you're not making me run the arc. I'm there. Like, I'm there. It don't matter. I'm unstoppable. I'm going to do normal stuff. And that's the thing that was so impressive. He was doing normal rips. He was doing normal. He wasn't trying to go back up, round, flip all this. Like, no, he ain't got to do that. He was just off the line. Okay, let me go through your chest. To Trent Williams. This is stuff that an average edge rusher can only do against a scrub. Miles is doing this.
They got bullied.
To Trent
Debo Samuel injured. Christian McCaffrey injured. Trent Williams
was bloody. They had him bleeding. Look. This defense is insane.
Milk box. We have George Kittle. They got the Amber Alert out.
Grant Delpit had him in hell. This is what I'm saying. Like, these guys are starting to realize their superpowers. And much like when Nick Chubb realized, remember when Nick Chubb realized that he had superpowers and was like, oh, y'all can't tackle me. I ain't got to cut back all the time. Like, I think last year and this year, you saw Nick Chubb realize he had superpowers because he was just like, I'm going upfield. Yeah, I'm not about to get tackled in the back of trying to cut round, get the right angle. I'm going to just go upfield. Nobody can tackle me. And that's where you see this, like, people know that they got these superpowers and they playing with superpowers. And once the team's playing like that, and you got as many superpowered people on this defense as they do, and it's a dangerous combination. All I need to see is them young players be confident just like that in that secondary. And if they can do that and get that confidence, I'm talking about Martin and Greg, start playing with that confidence. Whoo. Now, it's a lot to ask for, but I think they all capable of doing it. But you see Grant doing it. You see Denzel doing it. You see JOK doing it. You see Miles doing it. You see Zadarius doing it. You saw Dalvin Tomlinson do it. Hey, man. This is scary.
Deshaun Watson do it. Don't let Deshaun Watson get his.
You want to get to that one.
Do not even let him get. Don't let him. Because listen.
Because right now, what's the problem with Deshaun? What's the problem with Deshaun? When we looking at Deshaun, right? What's been our big problem with him? When we're like, hey man, he pressing too much. He doing too much. He trying to make too much happen. Right. He got superpowers. Just use them, right? Yes. You got the strongest arm in this division. Just use it, right? You can throw through that. You hard to tackle. Just use it. Right now with Deshaun, since he's been out, he don't got that same confidence in his superpowers. He needs to be confident in his superpowers again. You know what I mean? And once he gets that, because you see Amari Cooper, He back in that zone, dog. He back in Alabama this year.
I felt like I'm like, is this Oakland Raiders? Amari Cooper, he did get caught by a backer,
Oakland Raiders. Amari Cooper, he might have ran faster, but he wasn't doing this. He made two guys fall down in 2 drives, Jay, like in the NFL.
I'm looking at him like he had him on skates, bro. He looked like he was moonwalking, bro.
Yeah, that's the thing with Deshaun that I see when I'm talking about him. And it's a through line with a lot of players, a lot of talented players. Just realize you're good. And once you realize you're good and you're confident about that, get out there and just execute. Now you ain't worried about trying to hit a deep ball. Now you ain't trying to press it down. You just want to take what they give you, take what they give you. They going to mess up. You going to get it. You know what I mean? But that's what separates young and up and coming teams to teams that are ready to win it all, is that level of confidence that I'm going to play my game and I'm going to win. You know, I'm going to do this. Pat Mahomes, he not pressing all game. He going to hit under. And he know one day he going to break you, throw that thing deep, especially in the playoffs. So that's what it's going to take. That's what we need to see from the offensive side. That's what we have seen from the defensive side. Gee, ain't it great to feel vindicated this week? This is the most vindicated week of my life.
I just feel good, man. I'm just out here just hanging out. I'm like, that's how you get a win. Tell everybody to kick rocks, and then you put two. Hey, let's start stacking them. You get a win.
I remember y'all. I remember who was mad at me. You know, I remember who was calling me state-run media. Yeah.
See, man, you know, it's all good, man.
It's all good, though. It's all love. We all look.
You know
what I mean? Go ahead.
Flag. Listen, I'm always gonna drink. Listen,
nah, GBUSH, don't make me come out here with the bootleg Kool-Aid. I'll be like, yo, I got that Flavor Aid for my Save-A-Lot people. You know what I mean?
Hey, listen.
The Flavor Aid fam.
He got the swap meet, the Powerade. He got the Powerade.
Dog, that is Save-A-Lot right there. Yeah. Anybody that done been at the Save-A-Lot on Kinsman knows what I'm talking about. Or the Save-A-Lot out there in Warrensville. Shout out. You know what I mean? Yeah. Exactly. Y'all know what I'm talking about. We got that Flavor Aid, you know what I mean? So GBUSH, Ultimate Sports TV, they got the Kool-Aid Mafia. We the Flavor Aid family over here. We at war, G.
You're crazy, bro.
You got the barbershop. I'm gonna open the salon for the sisters. You know what I mean? Like, we about to get on.
You selling bags of Brazilian yaki?
Yup, you know what I mean? We got that. We got that Mad Dog.
Bro, this cat's crazy, man.
But crazy. That's what it is. Flavor Aid fam. Let me know what you're doing in the chat. Are you drinking the flavor?
Let me see. Let me find out. Listen, he got some drawings ready. I know he got some drawings.
Oh, yeah. Flavor Aid fam. Towels coming to you. T-shirts coming to you. Also, it's hold on, wait. This is going to be the intro for the video. But so, y'all have a great day. Have a good night, G. Always good catching up with you.